Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. I would like to bring you commentary pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. Yesterday marked day 7 for testimony by witnesses. Please check the YouTube queue for my shorts and my community page for said updates to breaking news and also posts. AP Associated Press is the source for today's content in court. Thank you for joining me.
Last week, jurors heard from Sean Diddy Combs' longtime girlfriend, Cassie. On Tuesday, they heard from her mother, Regina Ventura, telling jurors that she was physically sick when she received an email from her daughter in 2011 in which her daughter relayed concerns that Sean Diddy Combs was going to release 2 explicit videos of her because she had started dating another man. That man, rapper Kid Cudi. Regina Ventura also testifying that Combs demanded she pay $20,000 to him because he had outlaid certain expenses on behalf of Cassie and now was angry that she was dating another man and wanted to recoup those costs. Mrs. Ventura said that she took out money from a home equity loan that she had and paid the money, but ultimately got it back when Combs and Cassie reunited and restarted their relationship. Jurors also heard for the first time about the search that federal agents did last year at Combs' mansion in an island off of the coast of Miami, Star Island. An investigator from Homeland Security Investigations showed parts of an AR-15, 2 AR-15s, in fact, that were found in a closet at Combs' home, along with supplies that prosecutors say were used during the so-called freak-offs, those drug-fueled sex marathons that are at the heart of this case. Investigators say they found baby oil, lubricant, condoms, along with high heels and lingerie. Now, investigators say that they had to use an armored vehicle to break down the security gate at Combs' mansion. This search in Miami was one of several across the country at properties belonging to Combs.
Hey, Scott.
Jurors also heard
Thank
more
you.
from a former personal assistant, David James, who worked for Combs. James said that he feared for his life when Combs ordered him to drive an SUV with Combs in the back seat to a diner where rival Suge Knight was spotted. Suge Knight, West Coast-based rap entrepreneur, Combs, of course, from the East Coast, New York City. Ultimately, Suge Knight wasn't there, but on the way, the assistant says Combs had 3 handguns in his lap. The trial continues on Wednesday, possibly with testimony from rapper Kid Cudi talking about his relationship with Cassie and the fallout with Combs.
AP is the source. Thank you for joining me. Welcome all new viewers, subscribers. The movie of the week is Diabolique, starring Sharon Stone. It is a throwback from 1996, and it also was originated around about, I think, 1955 or earlier. I also shared that to my community page if you'd like to see the original Diabolique. There have been a few remakes of the movie. They had another one made in the 70s. It's also on the YouTube queue. It doesn't, the audio, the visual is not as great on that remake from the 70s. But if you like vintage movies, such as The Queen, check it out. Diabolique, Sharon Stone is my movie for the week. Let's get down to business to what happened in court today, everybody. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. Whew. The more I listen to commentary, and we're just one weekend, the more disgusted I am with Sean's behavior and also Cassie's. Not to be victim shaming, but this new commentary just shows you she didn't really care about anybody but Sean. But yet this is the same person who she's claimed abused her, trafficked her, beat her up, talked to her any type of way, name calling, bribery, threats, everything you could think of. But yet you didn't mind putting other people in the line of fire in dealing with him. And I don't like people like that. I'm sorry, I just don't. I get it. Desperate people do desperate things. They involve people in their problems. But this is how people end up hurt. And this is also how people end up in a cemetery, because they're in the company of you and your trashy ass company, and they're having to deal with things that they didn't sign up for. And I have a problem with that, because at some point you do have to stand account and take responsibility for the choices that you make. And you cannot have people around you when you have other irons in the fire. And that's what was going on with she and Sean. You're dealing with Cassie, and anything could pop off because Sean was erratic, drug fueled, nasty attitude, nasty disposition. And if you just so happen to be with her, you, as I said, you'll be in the line of fire. And what I'm about to discuss to you pertaining to her mother is just fucked up to me. And I get it. People will do anything to help their children. But there comes a point when everybody has to say to themselves, hey, I can't get involved in this. I guess everybody's different. Everybody's parenting style is different. Friendships are different. But we learned with the friend from yesterday, they're not even friends anymore. So as they say, people, parents will stick around maybe longer than a friend or an associate. It's crazy. Essence is the source, everybody. David James' testimony today is integral in trying to establish the prosecution's RICO charges against music mogul Sean Combs. James was Combs' assistant from 2007 to 2009. Whether or not they succeeded, it is up to the jury. While James was working for Combs, he described setting up hotel rooms for his spouse, a process that included bringing clothes bags in advance that often included toiletries, clothing, food, drinks, but mostly medicine bags. That bag also included 30 more pill bottles with ecstasy Percocet. James had to pay for condoms and baby oil and get reimbursed out of the cash Combs security would carry in Louis Vuitton bags. They would usually carry 10,000 at a time. Right there. That makes no sense. You're going to give security $10,000 at a time, but you can't give your personal assistant money to buy your damn condoms. This is stupid. Why not send the guy out with a credit card or cash to go to the store, buy everything that you need, then pack the bags, then he takes the bags to the hotel, and everything's in the bags. Why should your assistant have to pay out of his pocket for condoms? I'm surprised to even hear condoms mentioned, because this is my first time hearing any mention of condoms being bought. Wow. Yet Cassie was getting UTIs. So explain to me how you're getting UTIs with a person wearing a condom. Just saying. Friction. Help the queen understand. One Stop, a drug procurer who Cassie and other witnesses have referenced several times by now, would get drugs for Combs, according to James. Percocet, he said, would be taken by the mogul during the day. Ecstasy, he said, would be taken at night. Wow. Hold on a second. I'll put that in my notes. Very interesting. Percocet. And that's a drug that can take you down now. Okay. It's very interesting information. James testified that he too would get drugs for Combs and his friends, saying he thought it was part of his job to do so. When Mark Agnafilo asked directly whether James was offered immunity, the witness didn't offer a clear response, saying he wasn't sure the details that his attorney worked out, which I don't understand that. How would you not know what your attorney worked out for you? The Mel's Diner incident Cassie originally brought up when she said Combs told her to put a gun inside of her purse was also mentioned by James. I also told you the other day in my commentary that Gene Deal was told by Mr. Bonds that Cassie was the one who took the gun into the diner. So now there's a difference of opinion and testimony that this incident took place outside the diner than inside of the diner. So what's the truth? Did you guys go in the diner or not? Or you waited outside of the diner? Lord have mercy. You don't know what to believe. Suge Knight was a known rival of Combs. When cross-examined by Agnafilo, James was asked why he didn't speak up in reference to Combs approaching Knight. James responded respectfully, "Sir, you have someone with 3 guns in close proximity. I didn't think I had the option to say something." So we learned that Combs had guns in the car, 3 guns on his lap during this incident. What I'd like to know is if you all found Suge Knight was in there, who was going to go in and do what exactly? Shoot him? Walk out? Be seen? Did you have mask on, gloves? The car you used could have been traced. So you have to think about all those things when you decide you want to go confront somebody. And remember, this is supposed to have happened after a freak off. So Here's a man who's so obsessed with sex and filming and orchestrating and giving directions, he stops screwing, watching his girlfriend screw somebody to go track down Suge Knight. Make it make sense. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. So we have Mr. James, the assistant, saying he didn't feel like he had a need to say anything, considering these people had guns. His boss had guns. What, basically, what could he say? I understand that. In preliminary court documents, James said the incident happened inside the diner. Today, he testified that the events happened outside the diner. Once again, as I said, what's the truth? When Ackman asked about the inconsistency, James said, I think these are inaccurate notes. So who wrote it down wrong? Or is somebody not telling the truth? Before James left the stand, he admitted to having a physical altercation with one of Combs' chefs, which involved him grabbing her wrist, squeezing him tightly, and telling her to stay in her lane. Ironically, this is what he was once told when he asked too many questions, per his testimony on Friday. When she filed a report to Human Resources at Bad Boy Entertainment, it got back to Combs, who doubly ironically told him, you can't be putting your hands on women, and instructed his former assistant to get the chef a gift and apologize. Wow. So we realized that's what Don said he did. Threatened her and Kalina about them witnessing, about one of them witnessing him put his hands on Cassie, and then he gave them flowers. So here is the pot talking to the kettle. Don't put your hands on women. But yeah, you have been beating up Cassie all this time. Wow, wow, wow. A1 hypocrite. That same woman Combs had an altercation with later at his home in Alpine, New Jersey. When the police came, James testified he was told by Combs to say that she was the aggressor. So here you're seeing a trend with Sean Puffy Combs, that he likes to manipulate people to get what he wants. Say this, do this. He just uses people. And sadly, these people go along with it. This goes back to what I was saying about Cassie and this $20,000 blackmail from Sean that I'm going to get into. People can get you wrapped up in drama. And I have a problem with people who live like this, because they don't seem to understand you're fooling with people who stay in bullshit all the time. And so when they're in bullshit, you're going to be in bullshit. And now I'm hanging around you. Now I'm in the bullshit. And then somehow you can't make these people understand that. And it's sad that Cassie couldn't see this, because she lost a friend of 17 years because he ended up putting his hands on her friend, choking her and hitting her with a wooden hanger. Now, fast forward, okay, you got your mom wrapped in this fucking drama because he's blackmailing you because he finds out you're messing around with Kid Cudi. We'll get into that here in a second. So we just left this lady. She had filed a report with Bad Boy about that incident. And then we learned that also that same lady had had an incident with Sean in Alpine, New Jersey. Wow. Should that shock us? Of course not. Combs instructed me to say that the chef was an aggressor and hit him first, James said. So now we got to ask, did the lady hit Sean Combs? What were they arguing about? Combs' assistant said he didn't want to lie to the police and instead drove around. Upon his return, he lied to Combs, saying that he made the report. Oh, wow. And Sean fell for that? Okay. Whew, wow. He was the seventh person to take the stand. Cassie's mother was next. But first, there was the issue of a bribe. Before Regina Ventura took the stand and the jury was present, the defense and prosecution argued before the judge about what she'd be allowed to say. Because once again, it's hearsay once she repeats what Cassie told her, allegedly. I get it. The prosecution alleged Combs demanded Cassie's parents pay him $20,000, citing reimbursement for money he spent on the singer after learning she was romantically linked to Kid Cudi. This was days after threatening the new couple and saying he'd released sexually explicit videos of Ventura. The prosecution has bank records showing Cassie's mother taking a loan out to accommodate Combs' demand. Wow. So they got that on record. Her going to her bank to get out a line of credit so she could pay this bribe. So this may go into the Conspiracy Act, RICO Act, that everybody's been arguing about that has not been proven. You're entitled to your opinion. Days later, the money was returned. Okay? So let's go back up to that. He's going to lie to the mother and say, hey, I need this money. I'm giving her this money. But he's not really telling the truth. Yeah, I'm really blackmailing your daughter because I found out she's messing around with some guy. This is bullshit to me. The defense's position was since the money was returned, it shouldn't be discussed. Further, the fact that Cassie's mother had to get a loan highlights the income gap disparity. The prosecution's argument is simple. They think it's further coercive nature. Exactly. Ultimately, Judge Supreme allowed it, but gave the defense permission to object when it comes up. See, this is where I'm talking about. The belly of the beast, irons in the fire. You're wrapped up with this man, and now he's blackmailing you because he finds out you're messing around with another guy. And now he's going to tell you, well, I'm going to release 2 videos if you don't pay me my money that I just spent on you. What the fuck is $20,000? What is $20,000 to a millionaire at this time? Because at this time, he's a millionaire, okay? Not a billionaire. So what is $20,000? When we know most people who are wealthy, they're paying at least half of that or more in rent in California or a mortgage. Let's keep it real. Shopping trips. 20,000, they're barely getting started. So you're so vengeful. You find out she's messing around with this guy, and I think that's when he found out that information in her phone, her burner phone. She used the burner phone to keep in contact with Kid Cudi. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Dealing with people, and now you're wrapped up in their drama, and the mother obviously cared for her daughter. She went to the bank, was able to get the loan. Yes, it was returned. The defense said, so what's the big deal? Why are we talking about it? I agree with the state. They're trying to show how he manipulates and bribes people and threatens people. She felt like he's going to release those videos. She go to her parents to help. But where I have a problem, besides her asking her parents for help, when this is your fucking dilemma, okay? This is your dilemma. Because you should know you don't have a person film you having sex, first of all. That's first and foremost. You have to know that the tapes could get out any type of way. Somebody can get hold of his phone. He loses his phone. He's got the video on his phone. Come on, get to use common sense. Then, too, he's blackmailing you every time he gets mad. I'll release a video. I'll release a video. But then you go to your mother and get her wrapped up and get her in debt when allegedly you had money. Isn't that what you told him in a text message? So this is where I just am really I get pissed off listening to this bullshit because we all have to take account for our ways. They already got you calling these men, setting it up, picking up the men, doing the freak-offs when you weren't dating them, ignoring him, showing you had free will, but yet we know if expert can come in and say, well, she still was mesmerized. She felt threatened. And I get it. So they can always use that to her defense. She felt threatened because he had those videos. But I think it's still deeper than that. I think, yes, she was enchanted with this Negro. Even knowing he's a dog, he's nasty. Because they said shortly after she started messing with him, he was physically abusing her. And he probably was physically abusing her before he even started asking her to perform the freak-offs. Grooming, starting out, yeah. But at some point, you have to draw the line and say, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. So her own text messages say otherwise. Well, she was telling him, I like it, can't wait to do it, look forward to it, blah, blah, blah. I can't see anybody in their right mind saying that, and they really don't want to do it. Why am I going to give you incentive to keep calling, and texting about a freak-off when I know I really don't want to do it? The safest thing is to not talk about it so you don't keep bothering me about a freak-off. How about that? You call, you message, I don't answer. What you doing? Oh, I don't feel good. My stomach hurts. Make up something. Which we know she's done it before. That's why this is going to be troublesome to a few jury members. How do I know this is grooming at this point? And like they said, if it's coercion, forcible rape, that's different. But when you have a person saying certain things, a lot of people just not going to let that register. So it's quite crazy. I don't know how this is going to work out. All right, everybody. Moving along. Okay. This is just so crazy to me. So Combs gave the money back after a couple of days when they made up. I'm just like stunned right now because I just can't understand how a person would involve their own parents and say, "Hey, I need money," and then also the mother said she was confused because she didn't know anything about what he was talking about. So imagine now you got to explain this to your mother. Oh yeah, by the way, he films me while having sex. And she'd have to lie and say, oh, it's just he and I together, not somebody else. So did she tell her mother the whole truth? Oh, yeah, I have sex with this other person. He's filming me and he's blackmailing me. So what all did she tell her mother? I'm curious. I'm just curious. All right. Jesus wept. So once again, the money was returned. The defense says it's no big deal because the money was returned. Why are you all talking about this? 2011, the singer's mother received an email from her daughter saying that she was being threatened by her ex-boyfriend, Sean Combs. The singer believes it was because she was dating rapper Kid Cudi. Miss Ventura, the mother, Regina, read the email aloud in court yesterday. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. One on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another one sometime after that. He has also said that he will be having someone hurt me, and Scott Mescudi physically, he made a point that it wouldn't be by his hands. He actually said he'd be out of the country when it happened. The email came from Veronica Bain, which was an alias per Ventura. I did not understand a lot of it. The sex tapes threw me. I did not know the other person, but knew that he was going to try to hurt my daughter, Ventura testified today. Combs called her around the same time she received the email from her daughter, she said. The mogul told her he needed to recoup the money he invested in her daughter, Ventura testified. How crazy does this sound? You are a millionaire calling a regular civilian to say, I need that money. I spent money on her and she's been messing around with somebody else and blah, 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 blah. How does that affect her mother? What does her mother have to do with that? She is a grown woman. She has nothing to do with your relationship, what you think she did, didn't do. I'm just sitting here just listening to this bullshit. This is crazy to me. A grown-ass man calling someone's mother to say, I need some money. She's been lying to me, deceiving me. I've been spending money on her, and now she's with another guy. So it wouldn't even matter if he wasn't a millionaire. I'm just trying to sit here and see a grown man calling someone's mother like a fucking baby. That's why he's got that name Puffy, because he got it as a child, puffing and huffing his chest out when he's having a temper tantrum. I need my money. I would have cussed his ass out. I would have told him. Sir? Excuse me. Excuse me, everybody. Aren't you a millionaire? Why are you bothering me? And why are you blackmailing my child, first of all, with a sex tape? Why are you filming my child, sir? Sir, would you like me to turn this information over to the police, sir? I have an email from her. See, they had ammunition against Sean from the get-go. Now that we're hearing all this stuff play out in court. Cassie could have gotten money from Sean a long time ago, but she still was wrapped up with him back and forth, back and forth. That's why a lot of people are questioning, why did she even file the lawsuit? Because so much time that went, you already then left him. You were already with Alex. You were married to Alex when you filed the lawsuit in 2030. So it's like, why you didn't do this a long time ago? But because she was still hung up on him. Obviously, back and forth, back and forth. And I get it. We as people, men, women, we go back and forth with people. But rarely do we sue them because most people don't have any money for us to sue. Because they mistreated us, lied to us, cheated, And in this case, it's everything: lie, cheat, abuse, bribery, threats. But this goes to show, hey, calls to how Kid Cudi's car got blown up, and he's going to testify today in court Wednesday. And people probably going to believe it because they're going to say it's here in the email. She's telling her mother, hey, I need this money. He's going to release 2 videotapes of me. He's threatening to hurt me and Kid. I got to get this money. And I wonder, did she say something to Kid Cudi? Hey, Sean needs $20,000. But this is why I told everybody I couldn't see her telling people about no tapes of her and other men. Can you imagine going to a new guy, as I said with Alex Fine? It'd be the same thing with Kid Cudi. Hey, by the way, you got $20,000 I can borrow from you. Why? Well, Sean and I did sex tapes with other men, and he's threatening me because he knows about you, and he's going to release them, and I need $20,000. Okay. This is why I know she didn't tell Alex everything in the beginning. There's no way. If she did, she's crazy. Because I just can't see telling a new man all this information about threats, bribes, beating up my friend, going to my mother, wanting $20,000, sex tapes, sleeping with a guy by the name of the Punisher, which, he got. And just imagine repeating this to a stranger you just met and started dating. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is just, it just gets worse by the fucking minute. Got an assistant buying condoms and a grown man approaching a woman's mother for $20,000. This is sad to me. Okay, everybody. Once again, she used the alias Veronica Bain when she sent that email to her mother. Cassie Mothers once again took out a home equity loan, saying that's the only way we could get the money. Also, around the same time, Ventura began photographing her daughter to document injuries Cassie sustained after she was assaulted. So the jury has seen those pictures, and they also are on news broadcasts of those said photographs. She was bruised, and I wanted to make sure that we memorialized it. Ventura testified. The images of Cassie's injuries are shown to the jury from an alleged incident December 2011. The defense declined to cross-examine Ventura. Well, there's nothing you can say. What can you say? She's been blackmailed by your client. She's got pictures showing the girl's been beat up. What could you ask her? Nothing. All right, here comes Mr. Punisher. Sheree Hayes, 51 now. Well, for 2012, 2016, he was known as the Punisher, an exotic dancer working across multiple states who was ultimately familiar with Combs and Cassie. Hayes, who has a book In Search of Freezer Meat, wow, that's a horrible title, writes about his experience with Combs and Cassie. In his book, I Call Them a Married Wealthy Couple, he told the jury in the prosecution today, 6 pages out of 186. I sensationalized it. I wanted it to be enjoyable, calling it highs and lows. Initially, Hayes was contacted by Cassie in the fall of 2012. He didn't recognize the singer because she was in a full wig, according to the former dancer. He said that he thought he was going to do a small striptease for an intimate group of ladies, but when he arrived, Cassie was the only one there. He met her at the Trump International Hotel in New York and was told upon arrival that her husband would be watching. Okay, and this is how we learned from testimony last week. He sits in the corner and orchestrates everything. All right. At the beginning of the night, he was given $800 in cash. Okay. I was specifically told not to acknowledge her husband. Try not to look at him. No communication or anything. He testified as Cassie began to pour baby oil on herself. Hayes did too. Then Combs walks in. He, Mr. Combs, hold on one second. My screen keeps jumping off. Began to instruct Cassie, according to Hayes. At the end of the night, Mr. Hayes was given an additional $1,200. In total, Hayes said he'd been with the couple 12 times, but initially didn't recognize either of the two. The former exotic dancer didn't realize who they were until coming to a second venue and seeing the Essex House would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs on the TV, which I don't understand that. That's kind of strange. Anyway, the ex-dancer said he followed Combs on social media prior to his dealings with the couple. When meeting up with Cassie and Combs, Hayes said he would stay sometimes from 2:30 until 11 a.m. and was usually paid between $1,200 and $2,000 per meeting. My understanding was we were creating a sexy scene that was enjoyable to her partner, Hayes testified. When asked whether Cassie enjoyed the encounters, the ex-dancer said, I did observe sometimes a sigh, a wince, that seemed to be frustration at the frequency of Combs' directions. I think anybody would get tired of somebody saying, do this, do that, put your hand here, put your mouth here, bend over. How can you enjoy the sex with somebody guiding you every 5 seconds to do this, to do that, to do this? But in the end, everyone's entitled to their opinion to believe she liked it because she did it. But then in 2016, when he wasn't able to perform sexually, he was never called back. And I talked about that with you guys last week, where it was testified that this man couldn't perform because of her getting beat up by Sean in another room. And obviously his little friend couldn't get up, and then they never called him back. He was still paid and thanked for his services. He cited pressure, the reason why he couldn't perform. When cross-examined, Hayes was asked if he developed feelings for Cassie. He answered no, but notes from the ex-dancer's preliminary conversation with the prosecution showed that he said he had developed feelings for the singer. So when he first talked to the prosecution, he said he had feelings, but then testifying now, he says he did not. Don't know what that's about. When defense attorney Xavier Donaldson asked about the conversation Hayes had with prosecution, he replied, that may have been taken out of context because that's not the case. So maybe he meant he had feelings for her situation. He felt, maybe he saw something was, going on with her being abused. I don't know. But he's saying yesterday he didn't like her in that way. Later in the day, Special Agent Gerard Gannon testified that a warrant was executed on Sean Combs' Miami home March 25th, 2024. This is on the basis of human trafficking. Combs' Miami property, estimated 20,000 square feet. Gannon entered with between 80 and 90 special agents prepared. He testified for a confrontation with Combs' guards if one should occur. Jesus. So they had all these agents. Remember, because everybody was talking about why they got so many people. Why do they have so many people going to his house? It's not that serious. Well, the government thought it was. Combs' master bedroom closet was discussed largely during Gannon's testimony. The agent said they found sex toys, heels, baby oil. Photos were shown to the jury. When the agent put on gloves, it was because a special bag containing parts of an AR-15s was shown, and that was 2 that were seized during that raid. They were also seized, once again, during the raid. The jury was shown images of scratched out serial numbers on the weapons and pieces. So this is where this is going to be a problem. Hello, blue hair. You have these weapons. I don't think Sean's a felon. So naturally he could carry weapons, but how are you going to explain why you have numbers sealed off, scratched off, pieces scratched off? So that goes to intent. And everybody knows when you scratch off serial numbers, it's because you plan on using the weapons, which would be in a crime, and you don't want them traced back to you. So then we got to ask the ultimate question, are the weapons legally in Sean Puffy Combs' name? Did he go to a store, buy them? Because some would say he probably got them on a black market, and that's why he's got them scratched off, the numbers. I don't know. I have not heard that they were legally purchased by Sean Combs. Now, these things confiscated from his bedroom. Gannon said it's a lot more difficult or impossible when asked if it was possible to tell who firearm belonged to without the serial number. Okay. So that was that. So that was the testimony today. Special agent seized items from the house in Miami. Regina Ventura, the mother, and the Punisher, the escort, and also the personal assistant was on the stand. And then he goes back to testimony from yesterday. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to check out of here 35 minutes in. He's a user, okay? Sean Puffy comes as a user. He's a manipulator. He's a con artist. He's a puppet master. As you see, everybody has a story of being used by this man. You have an escort being directed what to do, how to act, where to touch. Put your hand here. Put your foot here. You have a personal assistant doing the same. He's buying drugs, scoring drugs for him and his friends. He's carrying dope. So you're procuring drugs, you're breaking the law. You're carrying it, you're breaking the law. There's also an incident where he had sex in a room. They all got together, some security guys, he was off. And he had a date, as you would call it, and he didn't know the girl was a prostitute. So she asked for $200, and he said, "Oh, I didn't know I had to pay her." So security said, "Well, you better find the money. You better pay her because we don't want no problems." So I guess he paid her, and she had said, "Well, I want to take a shower." And he said, "No, I ain't paying you to take no shower. You got to get out of here." They said the jury was laughing at that comment yesterday in court. Imagine that. Where I'm going with this, as I said, he's a user. Trafficking drugs, and you're a personal assistant. Only making probably $70,000 for these freak offs. Errand girl, errand boy. Hello, bro. Now I spent money on her. I want my money back. I'm just sitting here trying to see a millionaire. It's like Bill Gates calling somebody mom. "Hey, I just spent $50,000 on your daughter. I want my money back." Do you think Elon Musk would call somebody's mother to say he spent money on a young lady? He's mad because he finds out she's dating somebody else. "I want my money back." Huffing and puffing. We can go on and on about abuse, Stockholm syndrome, grooming. But once again, there comes a point when you have to say enough's enough. If that's the case, all of us can say we've been groomed then. If that's the case, I'm just saying. A lot of us have done stupid stuff for people. Going to your bank account, buying stuff, offering stuff. Being pressured to spend money on a person. Person bumming, begging for money. Buying cigarettes, beer, liquor, drugs. Come on, when the Queen preach. So there are a lot of people that are groomed if that's the case. And it ain't making it to court. And it ain't making it to Dateline. It ain't making it to CNN News. Sadly, some of these stories become casualties. This is why you have to bail out. Flip side is you can still end up dead. Because if the person wants you dead, they'll kill you anyway, even if you leave. And she's lucky to be alive, as he said to her in one of the text messages read in court. I meant to mention that Monday, so I'm going to mention it here. He texted her, "Woo, yeah, that was a ride we took. We're both lucky to be alive. Ain't this a bitch?" This is what I would have said in response to that. "No, motherfucker, I'm lucky to be alive because you kept beating the hell out of me. It's a wonder you didn't beat my brains out. And yeah, I'm popping drugs because of you, because you introduced me to drugs allegedly. So hell yeah, I'm lucky to be alive." But she responds diplomatically from these text messages. And even after they broke up, he's texting her, 2020, "Hope you well, blah, blah, blah." I guess he missed her. Well, you can always find a punching bag. Sean is hideous. Just like the court showed drugs confiscated from the Miami home, you're now seeing pictures from the raid at the hotel last fall when he was arrested, when he was turning himself into the feds and had to move to New York so he could be, get arrested and processed for these federal charges. He has shown the world he does not care about himself. Who the fuck will have drugs in their hotel knowing they're there to turn themselves in? This shows you he had no plan to stop using. He's self-entitled. He has a God complex. He thinks his shit don't stink. As Tupac once said, me against the world. Using the security guy to run along, to drive them, to go look for Suge Knight. And in the end, if some shit had popped off, Sean would have pled the fifth and those guys would have went down. Just like with that last situation in New York where the girl got shot in a nightclub. Sean didn't do a day in jail. The girl says he did shoot her. And she ain't been compensated today. And then that rapper, he can't even exit back into the United States because he was deported. He's a user. He uses people. And I was listening to a black guy yesterday talking about what he doesn't like about Sean Combs' demeanor is basically what I'm saying. Manipulating. Company he kept. The type of men that were in his company didn't look right. Basically, he's probably saying they were feminine, but he didn't say it, but I got where he was going. Because the person interviewing him was saying, well, have you ever seen him with men, having sex with men? He was like, no, I never seen him do anything like that, but I questioned the men who was in his company. That's very telling. I questioned the men that were in his company. He used people as gophers. And you see this all the time, even in the street. The dope boys got the money. They're using guys to go take their car to be clean, vacuumed out, wash their car. There's certain guys who wouldn't even do that. It's more like crackhead behavior. Hey, go take my car to the car wash. Hey, go take my car and vacuum it out. That's how Sean was with all these people. They just didn't even know it. You were gophers, whether you worked for him or not. He just used you. Who the fuck wants to beat a person up because they're hungry and she's not cooking the eggs fast enough? Well, the eggs are cooking themselves. You can't make the egg fry any faster. So that's worth picking up the pan to try to hit the girl with it? Then you threaten the witness who worked for you, Miss Dawn Richard. Then Kalina checks like she ain't never seen him do anything nefarious. As she said in a statement, don't try to get me to say what your story was because your story and version of Sean ain't mine. No, I think he paid your black ass off, probably. And you don't want the scrutiny of being what we call in the street a snitch and telling what type of person he is. Who the fuck is Sean? You all act like he's a mobster. He's not John Gotti, but that's how he portrayed himself, as somebody said on the news. He wanted to be the black version of John Gotti. Well, you see what happened with John Gotti. Died in prison. Stay woke, everybody. So now you are in federal holding. New York jail. Not a nice jail, I've heard. Lots of problems in that jail. And what's sad is people were moved to that jail from the other notorious jail they shut down. Because these people are going into jail with the same nasty attitudes, dispositions. And people think, what, they're going to change because they're locked up? No. They exact the same type of behavior inside. So to them, it's like they're still outside. And you're locked up in there with them. And I got a feeling you're going to fuck around and end up like Tory Lanez. You found guilty on any charge and go to prison, you're probably going to get stuck a couple of times. Right now, that's the argument. Can the state prove its charges? We have 7 more weeks of this nonsense. Who else is going to testify? So we have escorts, a mother, special agents, Cassie, somebody that's worked with Sean. They've all testified. Today, Wednesday, Kid Cudi is supposed to testify. This should be good because honey child boom, as us black folks used to say back in the day, honey child boom. you gonna hear a pin drop when Kid Cudi walk in that damn courtroom. Because now Sean gets to sit behind a desk, captive, while the man he probably hated gets up on the witness stand and give us the business. I cannot wait to bring you the updates later on, because this should be good. Shut your mouth. Because Kid Cudi gonna tell it, yeah, he threatened me, or she came back and told me he threatened me. For all I know, he may have threatened him directly. We'll see what he has to say. Yeah, my car blew up. And see, the email is telling it, where Cassie's telling the mother, I need the money. He's blackmailing me. He's going to release 2 videos. I think it's because I'm dating this guy. And then Cassie testified to the court. He allegedly threatened Kid Cudi. He was going to hurt him, harm him. And then poof, his car blows up. And as they said, the timeline of her text messages coincide with Kid Cudi's car blowing up. Now you got an email from her as an alias to her own mother trying to get $20,000. And that shit really pisses me off, because I don't believe in involving parents in bullshit. Because it ain't right to involve your family and friends in your drama. Because in the end, groomed or not, you still knew better. And yet you still kept fucking around with this damn man. Now you're going to your mother and she's going to the bank taking out a line of credit? This is wrong, man. This is wrong. And people have to think about that. Has this person changed? Has she changed? Has she gotten help? Is she getting therapy to make better decisions? Because one thing we've learned about life, old habits die hard. We know she's on Suboxone. That's to fight the opiate addiction. Don't know if she still has cravings for drugs. Don't even know if she's currently still popping drugs. She appears to be happy, but guess what? People probably thought that when she was with Sean, because you're taking pictures on the red carpet, you're going to events, but then we hear she's getting punched in her stomach at a restaurant. Let Dawn tell it. You got a friend saying he's beating her, pushing her, dragging her by her hair. Dawn saying the same thing. The mother taking pictures of her being abused. So it's been verified. We didn't get documentation she was beating herself up. But yet she's dragging these other people in her drama. Sean, same thing. You're dragging these people in your drama, running around trying to look for Suge Knight. Just like the defense is asking him. You didn't think about yourself while you're sitting here in a car as a driver? Do you know how much time you'll get as the driver? If something had to happen in that diner, you're a white boy in a car with a bunch of black folks. What the fuck is wrong with you? And you should have told Sean then, hey, man, I ain't down with this. But everybody's shaky Jake, scared to say anything and speak up for yourself. This is how people continue to manipulate people. And you got to think, if Cassie had never filed a lawsuit, we wouldn't be here today. So he would still be out here manipulating, conning, bribing people. And the fact that in that hotel room, when he got raped, where he got arrested in New York, baby oil in different parts of the room. For what? So you can tear up their good shit, mess up their good hotel. And there was a woman there too when he got arrested, remember? Drugs, pills, baby oil, sex items. Nothing changed. You are in New York to be turned over to the feds. And you've got drugs in your room, bags, pill bottles, alias on the bottle, Frank Black, his alias he used in the freak offs, and obviously got it pinned on a bottle. Then you got to ask where these drugs are coming from. Are they going to link up to anybody? Is anybody going to come forward to say, yeah, I sold drugs to him? But like they said, all of these testimonies need to be pertaining to racketeering and prostitution and trafficking. And I do believe they've proved the prostitution part. Some people don't agree, but I do agree. Because you got people saying, he took me here, he flew me here. She said it. They picked up people, met people, paid people. That's against the law. So are we going to get somebody to come in and testify to say, yes, he made provisions for me to fly to London, fly to Aruba, fly to Mexico, fly to New York, fly to LA for prostitution? Then you will have proven that prostitution transportation charge. The biggest charge is the racketeering, getting people to conspire for threats, bribery, coercion. This is a hot butter damn mess. I just don't know what to say. I'm gonna play interview Banfield and this lawyer because they were giving each other the business the other night, and I want to play that content. The article that I just read to you is by Essence. If you need verification for a source. Wow. 51 minutes in this live stream. Hello, everybody. He terrorized that poor girl. That's what Brooke is saying. Woo! I tell any woman, you meet somebody like him, run like hell. Don't even get yourself wrapped up. Just don't get yourself wrapped up. Hope nobody was affected by any tornadoes. We had a tornado watch earlier. I don't know if it touched down, but I have heard it did touch down in London the other day. So prayers for those in Kentucky. Once again, my movie of the week is Diabolique. Oh, I want you to hear from Diddy's friend. I got to play this for you. You've got to hear this. Sorry I didn't show myself today. I would have showed this video, but it's the latest video from News Nation. And I also want you to go to my community page and listen to this girl's testimony of feeling like she was about to be sex trafficked to Sean Diddy's house. She's able to get away. She escaped that night out of there. She had went down there and met a prince in California, and he flew her out to Florida. And she stayed in a nice mansion and Airbnb or whatever. And then she went over to Sean's house, and she felt like, they were trying to loop her in, but she was able to get out of there, go back to her house. And then she called the police and told them she wanted out of the house where she was, and she was able to get off, get her ass out that situation. And so I want you to listen to her testimony. It's on my community page. Hold on 1 second so I can give you the name. It's called My Diddy Party Story. It's an interview with a young lady by the name of Tania. It's on the Paranormal Files official channel. Got a lot of views. Let's hear from Diddy's friend. He does not believe that Sean Combs is capable of this type of behavior, and he's never known him to beat women. This is another dodo bird.
Friend of more than 35 years. All right. The idea that you don't know somebody after that amount of time is an impossibility. The question is, will he be truthful? Charlucci, Finney, it's good to have you.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you taking the time. I see by what you're wearing that you are a strong supporter indeed of Diddy, as you have been since this first started. First, respond to this main idea. Sean is rough. He hits women, and you do what he says or he will punish you. And that's why Cassie and others were not willing participants at the freak-offs. What do you make of that suggestion?
Like you said, it's a suggestion. And that don't make it a fact. That just make it a suggestion, like you just said, my friend.
Why isn't it a fact?
Because it hasn't been proven that's a fact. It's a suggestion. Someone said something, right? You have to follow behind it, and you have to hear two parts to it. So what was said, what you're saying, is what this was heard. That's it. There's no facts to it.
But you tell me, from your experience,
right?
Was the Cassie a one-off, or is your friend somebody who's got a problem with hitting women? Did he make people do things they didn't want to do? You would know the answer, Charlucci.
Okay. So a one-off. I don't even know him to hit women. That's one, right? And that's what I've seen, right? My friend was in a toxic relationship with another person that was obviously toxic. Based on what we're seeing, they both admitted to doing drugs, right? And I can't say one-off. Anyone that's enough. Hitting one person is enough. So it's not about 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7. One person is enough. And nobody should put hands on nobody. A man should touch a woman, a woman should not touch a man, especially in a violent manner.
Let me stop right here. You sound like a fucking fool. You sitting here with a cap on your head that says Puff, and I ain't never seen him hit a woman. Well, the video was released last year. The woman has testified in court. The mother has testified in court. Don Richard has testified in court. An escort has testified in court. Her friend, Miss Carrie Morgan, has testified in court. And yet you're sitting here going back and forth with Banfield about what you ain't seen. Well, we've already seen the video. Where the fuck have you been? So the fact that you're still supporting him is ridiculous. It ain't about if you've seen him or saw him abuse a woman before. He's seen on camera doing it. There's testimony of people who eyewitnessed him beat the girl up, punch her in the stomach, blah, blah, blah. So everybody's lying. Just like the friend who testified in court, she don't know Don Richard. That's probably why they asked her in court, do you know these ladies in this picture with Cassie? And Carrie Morgan said, no, I don't. That's to prove ain't nobody conspiring to make up stuff about Sean Puffy Combs. Come on, bring it on home, Queen. Ma'am, do you know these ladies in the picture with Cassie? No, I've never seen them before. Exactly. So everybody ain't making up no story about this man beating up this woman. And here you are sitting up here on Banfield with this big ass hat. Puff. Yeah, okay. Well, it should say puff, puff, pass. How about that?
And nobody should put hands on nobody. A man should touch a woman, a woman should not touch a man, especially in a violent manner.
And you're saying you never saw him hit any women?
Never.
Idea that people...
I'm a father.
Go ahead, please, Charlie.
I'm a father of two daughters.
Yeah, right.
Right? So I wouldn't be here wearing this shirt if I ever saw any one of my friends, especially him, hit a woman. And it would never happen in front of me.
But it's a video already out. This man is ridiculous.
And seeing it, yeah, it was a lot to take in. But I knew that wasn't him.
Who was it?
It looked like, like I was saying, drug induced, high, or whatever you want to call it. But that's not.
Oh, so now you're gonna admit you saw the video on CNN and that's not your friend. Oh, that's drugs or something else. It don't matter. It don't matter if he was on fentanyl, cocaine, crack, meth, heroin. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because there's too many incidents of him hitting a woman. Now we got an incident with him putting his hands on the damn chef. So that's the whole point. How far is this going to go? Are people coming forward saying, yeah, he put his hands on me? Shooting people in nightclubs. Don't get no accountability. And here you go, as somebody in the comment section is saying, 35 years, you ain't even heard of domestic violence? Exactly. You're such a good friend of his, but you ain't heard none of these stories. So you the type, well, if I didn't see it, it ain't real. I hate people like that. Well, I ain't see it. I ain't seen them hit nobody. I gotta see it first to believe it. Well, there's a whole video of him beating her up. And yet you still sit up here with a damn cap on your head with the letters Puff on it. I got 2 girls. So what's your point? Like one commenter says right here, I would never want this guy to be my spokesperson. Exactly. Another person says, don't trust anyone wearing sunglasses indoors. I love that one. And that's what they said about the guy who testified Monday. What the hell he doing walking in court with shades on? For what? I guess he was afraid that he might get made out. But the point is there weren't no cameras in court. And they can't take no pictures. So nobody's going to recognize you in court unless you've been doing something up in New York. And somebody in the courtroom that had some type of dealings with you. Let's finish this nonsense, everybody.
Whatever you want to call it, but that's not the Sean that I know. That you seen in the hallway.
The idea that the freak offs, people had to do it because they were afraid of Sean Combs.
I don't believe that. They were consenting adults. I don't. How you gonna make a ex-worker fly in town or come to somewhere and leave unharmed and unscathed? Like I've never heard of nothing like that in my life. These sound like willing participants.
Have you been in touch with your friend while he's been in custody?
Yes, I have.
How is he holding up during this process?
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot, because he's worried. He's concerned about his family. His children, his mom, his sisters, his nieces, and his nephews. Like he's just focused on getting this behind him.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
When the feds are coming after you, they rarely miss. How burdened is he that if they want to get him, they're going to get him? How does he process that?
There have to be something to get. You have to have a sex trafficking. You have to have racketeering. All I've been hearing.
I'm reading the comments.
That's all I've been hearing.
Has he talked to you at all about what happens if they make the case and he loses?
No, he's not thinking like that. We stand prayed up. That's what we're doing. We stand prayed up. And the evidence is going to show that he's not guilty of these crimes that they're alleging.
He's not having those mind games of what happens if I'm in here for the rest of my life?
He's not thinking like that. Why think like that? You would have to actually do the crime to do the time, right? Well, so we 1,000% are in belief, and we know that he's innocent. We have to prove them charges.
Shut your mouth.
So people are watching this right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's assume they're open. They only know this guy as the superstar that he is. And you know what they have heard about him, that he was having these parties. He was bringing people in from all over the place. Some of them wanted to be there. The allegation is some of them didn't want to be there, or they were sexually abused by him and they couldn't say anything because of how powerful he is. What do you want them to know about the man that you know?
He didn't bring anyone in. If he was following the case, and I'm quite sure you have, Chris, Cassie brought the people in. Cassie, that's what she did. So there's a sex worker never said that Sean brought them anywhere, did anything.
Oh, Lord.
And as far as being scared, that's just mind-boggling to me. I don't believe that at all.
This man is a
Everybody was willing, consenting adults. And this is what his defense team is going to show and prove.
Charlucci, I appreciate you coming on to give this perspective. It's important for the audience. And you know how to get us if you have anything that you want to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Enough of Charlucci, Kokuchi. He's a dumb dummy. All right, let's read some of the comments pertaining to this dodo bird who is a long life friend of Sean Puffy Combs. Feel free to check out the content. It's on my community page. If I didn't share it, I'll share it again. 35 years and you never heard of any domestic violence? I would never want this guy to be my spokesperson. Don't trust anyone wearing sunglasses indoors. I believe it. Because you're a father of 2 daughters doesn't mean your friend isn't guilty. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, these comments are priceless. Marina says he's not able to even give a clear statement. Did he get $20 for wearing the free Puff shirt also? Laughing emoji. Well, that's the rumor I brought you guys, is that Puffy's team allegedly was paying female bloggers and people to wear Puffy paraphernalia and paying them $20 an hour to wear Puffy paraphernalia. And I guess to also maybe gloat about him on their podcast and put him in a positive light. Dear God, what is the world coming to? Somebody says, what kind of character comes to a TV interview with shades and a hat on? You decide. Somebody says, stop interviewing this friend. He is a liar. Boom. Next person. This guy didn't pass special ed classes. Somebody else says, apparently you do not know your bestie, sir. You are in complete denial. Somebody says, it's all I've been hearing. He says he didn't hear domestic violence. He saw it. This guy already biased. Somebody says, I think Diddy has his friend right where he wants him, on the books, dollar signs. Imagine admitting to being Diddy's friend. Tell us you were there without telling us you were there. Wow. Somebody else says, wait, you didn't see Sean beat Cassie in the video? That was your friend Sean. You have 2 daughters and you don't condemn your friend for hitting a woman? This guy is blaming Cassie after he has seen his friend beat her. Another person. Birds of a feather. Somebody else cannot have an honest conversation with another man if he's wearing sunglasses to hide his eyes from you. Oh, I love it. Somebody says, he said he's never seen Puff hit a woman, but there's video evidence. Laughing emojis. Exactly. Diddy's on trial for sex trafficking and the RICO, not a domestic violence charge. So, see, they got 2 replies on that. Somebody else agrees. Absolutely. Somebody else says, continue to live under your special rock. Another comment. This guy's delusional. Next one. This guy's a goofball. Next one. Blame drugs, single parent households, whatever. No excuse. Somebody says he is an abuser also. Wow, that's deep. Then somebody says, I know him. He's definitely not. Okay, Carmela. Nobody really gives a damn. Somebody says, this is a domestic violence case. This is not a sex trafficking case. The government should have went to the Playboy Mansion. Why they didn't go after Heifer? You mean Hefner? We can see who's illiterate in the chat, okay? In these articles. Oh, my God. Somebody says, to say he's never know Diddy hit a woman makes him sound like an idiot, especially after the video was shown to the world. The fact that he's a father of girls and uses that as a pathway to why he'd never be okay with Diddy abusing women is horrible of him as a man and a dad, because he, as well as we all know, it has violent ways. We've seen the evidence, and I will like that comment. Exactly. He cleaned up his commentary. Okay, I haven't seen Puffy do this. I don't know him to do this. The guy in the video is not Sean. It must be drugs. The point is, it's Sean. Whether he was high, not high. And let's be truthful. The way Sean ran down that hallway, you would think he was playing for the NFL. I don't know too many people doped up on Percocet and ecstasy, running down a hallway, sprinting, holding a towel. Come on with it, Queen. Seemed like he was quite lucid to me. Because if you've been all night watching, having sex, filming, doped up, you're too tired to run down the hallway to chase your girlfriend. You're probably not even woke to know that she left the room. Exactly. But this is what happens when you have people, as some of these commenters are saying, they're in denial. Or they know their friend is foul, relative is foul, and they just don't want to go on record admitting they know that the person is foul. We know that she picked the men out, chose the men out of her own mouth. But the point is, it did start with Sean Puffy Combs wanting this to be their norm. And yes, she went along. But as they said, on that fateful morning, Cassie didn't want to participate, and that was her choice. She wanted to leave. That was her right. And as they say, when a person says no, it means no. Does not mean you have the right to make me have sex, make me perform a sexual act. If I say no, I meant no. If I said yes 2 hours ago, then I said yes 2 hours ago. If I say no 2 hours later, then no is no. But where a lot of people have a problem are the charges A lot of people are saying this is a domestic violence case because the state is not showing anything but just people testifying to her being beat up, bribed, threatened. Then others will argue that's part of the RICO charge, the coercion, the threats, the conspiring. You're entitled to your opinion. As I said, I've been on the fence about Cassie's demeanor, and there are things about her I don't care for, her behavior at the time, especially with the friendship situation. I did not like that testimony from Carrie Morgan, that you would throw your friend under the bus for a piece of dick. I said that. And then you would involve your mother for a piece of dick. And I get it. There are people who will go all out for their children. And this shows me she didn't care about her own mother. Because in her testimony, she said she had money. Remember her telling Sean that? I just want to be with you. I want to be around you. It ain't about the money. I got my own money. I don't need you to do nothing for me. Well, if you don't need nobody to do nothing for you, then why are you calling your mother saying, oh, he's going to release sex tapes? I need $20,000. So a lot of her commentary in her own text messages have been contradictory versus things other people are testifying, saying she's gotten them involved in. Then you all pay your friend $30,000. Then you tell another story in court. Oh, she asked for the money. Nobody's going to care. He beat the girl up. He choked her. Hit her with a hanger, wouldn't hang her. This is your friend. You knew her before Sean. Just like your mother. You knew your mother before Sean. And in the end, you now don't have a friend from 17 years that you could probably still have a good friend now. And this girl let it be known in court. I don't want to testify. I don't want to be here. Same thing with Mr. James, the assistant. I don't want to be here. Only here because there's a subpoena. Both of them said it to the court. They did not want to be in court, did not want to testify. Because that's the thing people don't understand. A lot of people move on. When they're done, they're done. May not be that she hate Cassie. She may not even hate Sean, this friend. I don't know. But the point is, she let it be known. When I'm done, I'm done. She said, I drew the line at abuse. So she's getting beat up by her friend's boyfriend. How is she supposed to feel? So this is where I have a problem with Cassie. You have put people in the line of fire and you don't seem to have any remorse about it. That's a fucking problem for me. Because this is how people end up dead. That's why I said she could have ended up dead. And now you're involving other people in your drama. Now, some guy you're messing with, although, you know, it's a slippery slope with that, the Kid Cudi situation. But this is how people end up dead. Somebody's jealous, somebody's mad. Oh, she's moved on. Now let me go threaten this guy. Just imagine had Kid Cudi been in his car. Imagine a kid had opened the door and got in the car. Somebody went out there to mess with the car. Boom, the car blew up. All because of a female that Sean has no respect for. This is why all this is baffling. The testimony from everybody. He's jealous of her. She's jealous of him. Yet he's screwing everybody. Was even with Kim Porter when they met Cassie. See, I listened to everything. She was already with a man when she met Sean. That Leslie guy introduced her to Puffy. She had a whole boyfriend when she met Sean. So she's not that naive the way the state is trying to portray her. She's not that naive. Certain instances, yes, she acts like she's green. But the fact that she had a whole boyfriend means she was not naive. And when you listen to that guy's interview, he basically says it in a very diplomatic way. Once you see something that's not for you, then you move on. He basically realized, I'm not getting nothing out of this with her. I kept it moving. So I think she only dated Sean because she thought the grass on the other side was greener. Hey, he can get me more. He can do more. He's well known in the industry. But from our understanding, the other guy was doing well with her, trying to get her out here in the music game. He helped put her on. He was taking care of her, doing for her. So don't you see, this is a pattern. Now, I don't condone the abuse, make that clear. But I think there's levels of of just stupidity on her part in dealing with Sean. But there are also things about Cassie where she had knowledge of knowing right from wrong. And she did what she wanted to do. Because I just don't see how you can just keep dealing with a person. They're beating you up. They're talking down to you. Then they're introducing you to freak outs. Hey, you know, I like this. You want to do this? All she has to do is say, no, I'm not into that. Frankly, I'd be offended that he asked me. And that would show me, well, he's not really interested in me. But like they said, if you want to go along with it, that's your choice. He's blackmailing you with the material. And then, poof, y'all don't want to see him no more. Well, he can't get it up. Well, he probably can't get it up because he don't know what's getting ready. Come on now. This is all too strange for me. And I get it. People get tangled up with bad people. We know this. I know this. I didn't get to 54 by accident. We all make mistakes. Keep going back in, dealing with people that don't mean it's no good. Trust me. I know I got a t-shirt or two. But ain't none of them came to Queen talking about, hey, let's have sex with somebody else. I put that on record. Ain't no guy I like ever asked me, hey, would you like to go find somebody, or I'll find somebody. No, you ain't ready to find nobody. You go find you another female and y'all can do the twister together. Because I'm not interested. He never had respect for her. So all this text messaging after the fact, during their relationship, on and off, she's going around messing with other people when she got tired of dealing with him. She should have just kept it moving. And yes, the defense is portraying her as money hungry, greedy, waiting years to file a lawsuit. And what's weird about it to me is she's with a whole nother man when she files a lawsuit. So you have to admit that is peculiar. You are already married to another man and you're filing a lawsuit against Sean Puffy Combs. Why? So that's why I asked you all the question, could it be that Alex learned some things and said, hey, I got to wait for us to get some money. Sue Sean for all the nasty things he did to you. Was she coerced to file this lawsuit? Because if she didn't have $20,000 to give Sean for the bribery, common sense will tell you up until she filed that lawsuit, she ain't had no money. Maybe living off the YouTube money from the YouTube channel and little royalties from the movies she's done. But you understand what I'm saying? She wasn't living probably well as other singers. Because you have to have music out to be able to live off the royalties. And she didn't have that. She only had one album. She had one album and a few movies. I don't know if she did any commercials or ads. I hadn't heard that she had. That has not been mentioned in the past week. So she didn't have any money. I think Cassie felt bad about what she did. I think she looked back on her life and realized she made a mistake with Sean. Possibly even still had feelings for him. May have been beating herself up that she still had feelings for him, but angry to how he treated her. Realized her career went nowhere because she allowed him to dominate her career and not collaborate with other people and go out and make moves like most entertainers do. They navigate. If they're a singer, they're doing commercials, they're doing tours, they're selling themselves for other products. She didn't do that because she allowed Sean to dominate everything. He just used her. And I'm going to be truthful. I don't think he had any intention of producing any more music with her or for her. That's obvious. Because if he wanted to, he would have done it. And that's why she made the comment in court. I was a sex worker. Every time I turned around, I'm doing a freak off. The freak offs were weekly. And although she participated in some of them willingly, She also had disdain for it. And this is why I said she should have said to herself, this is not working out. And I think that's what the lawsuit was about. She was angry at her life not being where she thought it should be. And I won't doubt she probably told a few people about what was going on down the road, maybe in a counseling session. Maybe somebody told her, well, sue him. Get some pay. Get some payback. Get some payback for some way back. He owes you. And I think that's what she felt. This motherfucker owes me. All these years on and off, I didn't stick up for myself. I didn't go out here and navigate. I didn't go out here and get an agent manager. I didn't follow their instructions to, follow through with deals. I allowed this man to dominate my mind, my spirit, my body. And now I don't have the things that I should have. I do believe that's why she filed the lawsuit. What they call it, buyer's remorse. I think that's what happened with Cassie Ventura. She had buyer's remorse. I fucked up and I've wasted all these years and I don't have anything to show for being wrapped up with Sean Puffy Thomas. Because if you don't even have a car in your name, your apartment's not in your name, you don't own anything outright, you are going to question what the hell have I been doing with my life. And I think that's what the lawsuit's about. Personally, I do believe that. She looked back on her life and realized she had not attained goals the way maybe she thought when she first entered into the music business. And maybe she became angry with herself, vengeful towards him, bitter towards him. And that's what made her file the lawsuit. And I won't doubt that somebody else was in her ear and said, yeah, get the money, get the money. He owes you. He owes you. Because we already know abuse happens every day. But people don't have money to pay a victim. That's just common sense. So what was going on with them happens every day. Maybe not all that freak off stuff, but men abuse women all the time, and even women abuse men. But people don't have the money to pay out. Hey, I'm taking you to court for beating me up, mistreating me. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to file a suit. You got to spend money on a lawyer for all that. And if the person don't got no money and nothing sustainable, you're going to be paying more in lawyer fees than what you'll probably actually get a month in a payment, in a payout. Well, I know drugs can not make you think straight, but what I'm trying to make people understand is there's a pattern with Cassie in the beginning when there was no drug use, no freak offs. Okay. I'm talking about in the beginning, how they started. She already had a boyfriend when she met Sean. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. So that shows she knew what she was doing. Before all this stuff started, she already had a man and jumped in with him, with Sean. That man she was dating introduced her to Sean. She gets with Sean. He introduces her to Kid Cudi. Next thing you know, things ain't working out with her. She's fucking Kid Cudi. Stay woke. Then, years later, 18, she's messing with the trainer who worked for Sean. Don't you see a pattern? None of that has anything to do with drugs. None of that has anything to do with drugs or freak-offs. She started bouncing with one guy to the next when there were no drugs involved. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not here to victim shame, but I think people do need to pay attention to what has been revealed. And this is out of her own mouth, not gossip. She hopped around with guys who knew each other. And I just think that it's a bad look. That's why I wondered if maybe she still has feelings for Sean. And she admitted in court, she still cared. I love the past, what the past was. Those were her words. I love what the past was. That don't make no sense. Your past was violent. Exactly, a spider web. Your past was violent. So how can you tell the court, I love what the past was? Well, the past is the reason why you filed the lawsuit. Isn't that right? You told them. I would give the money back if it meant I never did another freak off. So that was confusing to me. So she's contradicting herself. I love what the past was. How can you love what the past was when you lost your friend? Your mother took out a loan, even though she got the money back, but it's the point that you went to her. You couldn't take care of yourself. You told that to the personal assistant. You stayed with a man who paid for everything, did everything. Your career didn't go anywhere. You're getting beat up, bruised, spirit broke. You're doing freak offs. You're catching diseases, UTIs, and you sit in court and say, I love what the past was. I guess so. Trauma bond, I guess so. Because that comment doesn't even make sense. I think she didn't want to admit, yes, I still think of him from time to time. Yes, I still have feelings for Sean, Puffy, Combs. Because I'm going to tell you something, and somebody said it the other night. Because, you know, I pay attention to everything. I don't glaze over stuff. I pay attention to everything everybody has said in that court. And somebody said what I was thinking. Somebody said, I want that Cassie would leave right now if Sean went to her and told her, I love you. I apologize for everything I've done to you. Can we get back together? Because that surely crossed my mind the other night after listening to her testimony. That didn't make no sense. I said, I wonder if right now Sean called her and told her I made a mistake. I love you. Or, you know, a little ways back, you know, before all this federal stuff and the lawsuit. And she would have been with Alex at the time, of course. If he had just called and told her, I want you back, would she have gone back? Because you got to remember, she was dibbling and dabbling with him and Alex the fall of 2018. And she's already been dating Alex a few months when she finally says, well, I'm done with him. He cared for this dead woman more and said she was his soulmate. So that means you still would have been screwing with him while also messing with Alex. And see, nobody is focusing on that. How is this fair to him? And now he has to sit here and hear, or has heard rather, that in court. So that's comments coming out of her mouth that don't got nothing to do with drugs. That's why I tell everybody, pay attention. The comments in court don't have nothing to do with Percocets, Molly's, ecstasy. She's not on drugs when she testified last week. I was done with Sean when he made that comment at the memorial that Kim was his soulmate. And at this point, this is November of 2018. She is already still sleeping with Alex Fine, at least 2 to 3 months in. How do you think that man felt when he heard that in court? But that's the only reason why she cut Sean off. It's because of a fucking comment about a dead woman. I'm woke. I'm woke. And I don't think she was thinking when she made the comment. Because you got to remember, you are now married to this same guy. That you were still what we call, you know, straddling the fence with him and Sean at the same damn time. Of course, she only said she slept with Sean once after that alleged essay. But we don't know if that's the truth or not. Because what did I tell you? I tell you what I want you to know. I don't have to go into court and say, oh, yeah, I slept with Sean 3 more times, 5 more times, 6 more times. Because, you know, that would be embarrassing. No more embarrassing than what she's already told. But then somebody might say, well, Queen, she's revealed some quite illicit stuff. Why lie about how many times she slept with Sean after he essayed her? Because she knows that looks just as crazy. And that's why Alex was upset and punching walls and shit, because he found out she had sex with him after allegedly being assaulted. So that means she had to told him, oh, yeah, he sexually assaulted me. So that's why I said I don't really know what she told this man in the beginning of their relationship. But I personally, I can't see telling a stranger all these nasty things. Because how do I know this is not going to turn him off? No, I can't date you. You're a nice girl. You're pretty, but I can't get involved with a girl that's been sleeping around with all these different men and freak offs and stuff. But hope you find what you're looking for. Have a nice day. But then we also know men don't really care because they usually think with their penises. They don't care that a woman has slept with 50, 60 guys, 80 guys. Okay, well, okay. This is a sad, sad case of manipulation and fuckery. And I think the universe is telling Sean, your time is up. You've done a lot of dirty things that you have not stood account for. You have not gone to jail and prison for, and your time is up. And I think that's exactly what happened with R. Kelly, because everything that people are saying about Sean right now, the same things people said when R. Kelly went to court in New York. Oh, it's old, it's old, it's old, it's hearsay, it's hearsay. But sexual assault is not old. The crime may have been old, but it's still a crime. And it does not need statute of limitations, just like murder, attempted murder is all the same. Being brutally beaten. It needs to stand on merit alone. And so this case mirrors R. Kelly to me. All the filth, the nastiness, the different women, the coercion, the beatings, the sex, the this to that, the sex with different partners, allegations of men being gay, on the down low, allegations against children, they're all the same. And you see what R. Kelly is. And frankly, Sean's going to go to jail either way. And that's one thing nobody's focusing on. Everybody's arguing about the charges. Sean was arrested with drugs in his hotel room. Number one. Number two, he had drugs in his possession and guns defaced when they did the raid last year. So within months, there were 2 arrests and raids. And he has drugs, guns. So if he's found not guilty 7 weeks from now, he still will have to stand account for the arrest at the hotel with the drugs, and the drugs and the arrest at the drugs and the guns at the Miami home. So he's still not out of the clear. And I don't know how many charges, how much time he would get for the 2 AR-15s defaced. Because the first thing the court is going to say, why are you defacing weapons? That means you have intent to do wrong with the weapons, as not for them to be traced back to you. So he's doomed either way. So that's why there's no need in anybody arguing over these charges, because he has other charges already that's going to happen after this trial. I think they've proven prostitution with transportation, engaged in transportation for prostitution. You paid these people to have sex with you. The law says you cannot pay people for sex. That's the law. So prostitution has been proven. What the state has to prove is the trafficking of people, coercion, and the conspiracy and the racketeering. But you get one more person to go up there and say, yeah, I had sex with him or sex with her. He paid for it with his money, blah, 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 whatever. He paid for me to fly in, or he paid for me to Uber in. There's your proof. That's my commentary, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Take the polls on my community page. Also follow me on the Newsbreak app, where I give similar commentary. They're estimating 7 more weeks of this nonsense. And Mr. Kid Cudi is to take the stand today, Wednesday, May 21st. I cannot wait to hear what Mr. Kid Cudi has to say. This should be absolutely interesting. Because, see, we don't really know what has been said to Mr. Kid Cudi. Did he ever send him any threatening emails, notes? Anything else strange happened to him besides his car blowing up? Because that is one of the charges as well, arson. And Jury might listen to this testimony today and say, you know what? I don't know about these other charges, but I kind of think he blew that man's car up. Because we've got too much chitter chatter with Cassie and her mother about threats and bribes, videos, extortion. And now we got this man sitting up here telling us what he learned from Cassie, this and that, and then his car blows up. Very interesting. And then possibly police may come in with a police report to give us the information pertaining to the car, the shape of the car it was in, what they found, explosives, things like that, anything incriminating. And then imagine the person that did it, if indeed Sean paid somebody to blow this man's car up. He's been walking around here free. It's very scary. Because what you have to ask yourself, if you're willing to blow up a man's car, let's say Sean did that, what else are you capable of? This is why I had said in my commentary, the only thing missing from this story is bestiality and homicide. Because if you can bribe people, coerce people, threaten people, physically assault people, lie on people, defraud people, you are capable of murder. And I do believe beating a person up, throwing pots, pans, vases, and blowing up cars ain't but one step from murder. Also, people are asking, will there be other arrests? I don't know. My assertion to that is, seems like to me the state would have already brought others in when they arrested Sean Puffy Combs. But also another thing I said about Cassie, she's just as guilty with the prostitution charge because she was engaging with the men, picking them out, talking to them. So did she get immunity for her testimony last week? Because my understanding, she was just as involved in the picking and the choosing of the men. Very interesting information. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time, everybody. I will be uploading a few shorts in a little bit, so feel free to check them out. And check out my latest short that I uploaded pertaining to someone selling, I guess, perhaps stolen merchandise, trying to get a fix for drugs. Check out that content. It should be in the queue as I speak. I'll be back, everybody, with an update for Wednesday. What will Kid Cudi tell the court? Will they believe him? And how will this trial end? Will it end in Mr. Combs' favor? Or will they set him free? Or will they find him guilty on a few of the charges? We will see. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful week. Check out my movie of the week, Diabolique. It's an older movie, but it's worth your time. And you have been listening to The Vault XL. See you guys later.